Hi everyone, I'm Nicola from Elimee Designs and welcome to episode 4 of our crochet vlog. So there have been a few ups and downs since the last crochet vlog episode, and today seemed like a good day to cheer myself up by recording this for you. The last 24 hours, everything just seems to have tried to go a little bit pear-shaped. My husband had to go away on a last minute business trip, and the first two things on my very important to-do list this morning required a car, which he's taken on his business trip, so will have to be postponed. But this is something I can do and makes me happy, and so I'm just gonna cheer myself up a little bit. So I've got a few things to show you this week, or this month even. Not quite as much as last month in terms of the variety, because I've mostly been making Christmas presents, and in order to make that as efficient a process as possible so that everything is ready before the baby arrives and not after, and so that I'm not crocheting until the last second on Christmas Eve, I've been doing a lot of items using the same patterns, just because once it's stuck in your head, it's very easy to replicate, doesn't take as much time to refer to it every time. I'm also going to be sharing a sneak peek of our Christmas pattern. I haven't named it yet, so if you have a look at it and you can think of something that you think might fit well, please do drop me a comment below. I will happily gift a free copy of the pattern if I choose your name. And yeah, let's just crack on. So starting with things that I have finished. There's not too many of these this week, and they're all pretty similar, so it's not going to take me long to talk about. So I have been busy making Caitlin Zigzag Blanket hacked scarves because, as I said, once you get the pattern into your head, really quick and easy to replicate. You can make it in any colour, any yarn, any weight. You just adjust how many stitches that you make for your foundation in order to make it the width that you like. Then make it as long as you want, add on your tassels or your pom-poms, and you're done. So you'll probably already have seen this if you follow me on Instagram, because I shared with you last episode, so episode 3, a sneak peek of our Twisted Trio ear warmers. I had made one using this yarn, and in the sneak peek photo that I used before the release, I showed the matching scarf. Now, obviously the scarf is made from the Caitlin pattern, not the Twisted Trio earwarmer pattern, but it's the same yarn. So I thought it'd be nice to coordinate. So who loves this yarn as much as I do? It goes through multiple tones of blue and white. Now this is the one that unfortunately I lost the ball band for. So I have no idea who made it or what it's called, but I absolutely love it. And I've still got a reasonable amount left. So I think I bought maybe 4 balls when I found it. Oh, and look at how wiggly the tassels are. Sorry, I just love that. And I started out making a mermaid blanket for myself when I was pregnant with my second, which took me far too long to finish, as I've already told you. Then I made this and the ear warmer, and I've still got about a ball left. So perhaps its destiny will be a hat to make a matching set, or some mittens maybe. We shall see. But along the line, as I said earlier, of replicating patterns that I am familiar with and are quick and easy to make, I showed you this last time, but it wasn't quite finished. So I have another scarf in boysenberry from Stylecraft Special DK. And I did decide to add the yellow tassels in the sunshine colour. Now this is so that it matches with the Twisted Trio ear warmer that you probably saw my youngest wearing. So it's got the boysenberry band with the 3 sunshine yellow hearts on the back. So I thought this would go really, really well with it. And in order to make them coordinate a little bit better, I thought introduce a little bit of the sunshine, seeing as I didn't go with stripes. And as you know, I'm trying to shrink my stash so that my craft room can turn back into a nursery. And I didn't have enough once I got to this length of scarf to do the tassels in that colour without buying any more. But I had plenty of sunshine, so win-win. I think everything this month, apart from the Christmas blanket, has been made from stash. So I'm very, very proud of that. Okay, this one I think you also saw in episode 3, but it wasn't quite finished. So this is an adult version, just like the blue one that I just showed you, the boysenberry, I did it in child size. And this is made with the Hayfield Spirit Chunky yarn in shade 400, because apparently there are no fun names for Hayfield Spirit Chunky. Again, I mean, just look at those beautiful colour changes. It's just, yeah, this was the yarn, well, one of the yarns, I should say, that I was gifted by my colleagues when I left my last job. And I finally found a use for it. And I did go with the pom-poms. So this one is sort of a more of a bluey, greeny purple at this end. And at this end, you've got kind of more of the oranges and pinks in there. But yeah, I kind of like how the pom-poms brought it together. And I have one more of these to show you, at least in the finished section. And this I made for my nephew, so he'll get this one for Christmas. So it's just another one, again, using what I had in my stash from Stylecraft Special DK in the colour green. Yeah, so there's lots of greens that come from Stylecraft, but this one doesn't. I thought maybe it's like forest green or evergreen, or no, just green. And you know how I feel about boring names. So, and again, I added tassels to this one, although I made them slightly longer this time. Now, I think I'll do the Christmas blanket at the end. Maybe. Okay, we'll see. So I'm going to move on to works in progress. I told you I didn't have that many finished objects this week, and everything is very similar. So if I can just reach across. I have 2 whips that I've actually worked on. So as I'm sure you know, I've got a lot of other whips that I haven't worked on since last month. So like the stripy Caitlin blanket for my baby bump. Still haven't gone to get the yarn. Well, actually, no, I did go to get the yarn on Friday, only to find out that the yarn shop was closed. So I'm waiting for them to reopen on Wednesday. I think they reopen, so that I can pick up the last few balls to finish that. I've got my baby cardigan, again, has been put on pause whilst I work on the Christmas pattern. I've got loads of sewing projects. I've got some cross stitch. Everything's just been put on hold, shall we say. So this one is another hacked scarf from the Caitlin pattern. This time it's in Aster, so it's a really nice shade of blue. And this one is destined, according to my girls, to be for their little friend, as part of his Christmas gift. So it doesn't have any tassels or anything yet, or pom-poms, which is why it's not quite finished. But I hope that he likes this colour. They picked it out from my stash, again, trying to shrink the stash. So yeah, I really hope that he likes that when he gets it. And then she says, I have one more, Caitlin, that I have actively been working on. So unfortunately the other night, really late at night actually, I had to take my husband to the hospital. So my in-laws came to watch the kids whilst I drove him, because he was in no fit state to drive. And I started working on this in the waiting room. And much to my surprise, because we were in minors, not majors, so he wasn't kind of life-threateningly ill, thankfully. We were in and out in less than an hour. And she said to me, because she saw me crocheting, and she was like, oh, I really love crochet, you know, it's so amazing to watch. She said, if you'd been here yesterday, you probably would have finished a whole blanket before you left. But this is not all of what I did at the hospital. At the hospital, I did maybe a couple of inches before we were seen. So this is what I've just been working on since. So this doesn't show up the Caitlin zigzags quite as well, but I really, really love the colourway. And my daughter has one in the child size. This is going to be an adult size to give to a friend. And if you hold it up, you can see the holes better. But not the probably ideal yarn to make a Caitlin hacked scarf out of, just because the colour changes are fairly quick and it's very speckled. But I was going to the hospital, I grabbed the first thing I could find, and given that all I had was my phone, the Caitlin is one of the few patterns that I know by heart and don't have to look at anything. So I just went with it. And it means that whoever gets this will match my daughter, which I think is really cute. So I've got a reasonable distance. I'd say I'm maybe a third of the way through the scarf. And I've got plenty left, and I've got another ball. So again, from stash. I'm hoping there'll be just enough left over to make an ear warmer for one of my nieces. One of them has got a twisted trio ear warmer. God, I can't get my words out today. And one of them, because she's only a baby, I'm not sure whether to do a motif on hers or whether to do a plain one, but I think this would be a really cute colour for her. So for those of you who didn't see this in the previous episodes, this is the Wilko's chainette yarn that I bought because I had some vouchers to use in there, and let's face it, if you have somewhere that sells yarn, why not buy yarn? And if I remember correctly, it's in the colourway Purple Mix, even though it's clearly pink. But yeah, I don't know who was in charge of naming that. We shall forgive them, just because it's a really cute colour. Okay, my last whip that I have actually worked on. So I asked in my group for some help coming up with other patterns to make as Christmas presents. So things that were fairly small in size, wouldn't take too long to make, just so that I could get all of the Christmas presents done in time. Hopefully that I could make from stash as well. And the lovely Rachel in my crochet group suggested mittens. So I've just finished the top section, so I need to cut it off and weave in the ends just to close that little hole. And then I need to work the thumb. So this is the Mrs. Murdock's Mittens pattern from Brenda Anderson, which is available on Ravelry. And in typical fashion, because I'm making it as a Christmas present, I didn't bother with a gauge swatch. I figured if it turned out really big, I'd give it to one of the older kids in the family. If it turned out really small, I'd give it to one of the younger kids. And this is just my practice one using yarn that I had in stash. So this is Stylecraft Special Aran in lipstick. The pattern calls for worsted weight yarn, so fit the bill. If this turns out well in terms of sizing, then I do have lots of really cute yarn in my stash to use. So I've got all of that stuff that I got in my mystery bundle that I still haven't used. It's been quite easy to make in stripes. That's one of the things I was thinking of doing. But so we'll see if it fits one of my girls, and if it does, the variations that I decide to go with based on who it fits. If it's far too big, because this is the smallest size, so this is the preschool size, then I will just go down to DK weight yarn and see what size it turns out that time. I'm not too worried. I've got plenty of people to gift them to. So this pattern comes in 3 sizes. It comes in preschool, older kids, and women's. And yeah, I'm really taken by the idea of making a stripy version. Sorry, I will have to find the right yarn to do that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is some yarn that has, well, some has a project planned, some doesn't, but I need a little bit of your help if that's okay. So I think I told you maybe in episode 3 about how, or maybe it was episode 2 when I showed you this striped blanket, how I was making a Sophie's Universe, but I didn't love the colours that I was making it in. So I decided to stop where I was, to repurpose the yarn, and then maybe next year buy some new yarn to make a Sophie. In the meantime, I started making things. So the stripy Caitlin blanket for Bump that I showed you was made with yarn from that kind of bundle that I bought for the Sophie. And this is some of the other yarn. Now I have an idea, but I need your help with colour selection. So let me just grab it. This is going to be the main colour. So this is Stylecraft Special Chunky in Parchment. So that's going to be the main colour. Now I've got 3 colours that I could pair it with. I'm not sure whether to use all 3 or just use 1, or I'm not sure which goes best. So if you can help me out, I'd be very grateful. So this is the same yarn in the colour Raspberry. I also have Sage. Oh, it looks a bit more bluey on the camera. It's actually more of a green. And this is Storm Blue. Now the question is, which of these goes best with the parchment? I think maybe the greener Sage one, or the Raspberry. I'm not sure. I'm terrible at picking out colours. I usually get my husband to match them all for me, but he's not here today. So let me know if you have an opinion on which I should go for. I'm going to use these to make up another blanket, probably for Bump, just because I like making stuff for the baby at the moment. And my plan is to use the motif off the front of the Aphrodite cushion cover but make it into squares for a blanket and then join them all together. So we shall see how that goes once a decision has been made on the colour. The last thing is that, in the last 12 months have definitely enjoyed making socks. So my sock journey hasn't been very long, like I said, in the last 12 months, but every pair that I've made so far, I've just had so much fun making. And my sister-in-law was kind enough to gift me this yarn. Now, how cute are these colours together? I mean, this is just dying to be made into a pair of socks, right? So this is Wendy, not a brand I've heard of before. And I'm guessing Happy is the kind of sub-brand. And this is colour 2531, which is named Parrot. It is made for socks, so it's 75% bamboo and 25% nylon. But there's definitely enough in here because I think I've got 100 grams. Yeah, 100 grams. There's definitely enough in here to make a pair of socks for myself or to give to somebody else. I might try out a new pattern though, because I've been making lots of the Patterns Croy socks, but perhaps something with a little bit more interest in it. I don't know. With the self-striping, maybe I'd lose the interesting parts. We'll see. That's definitely on the horizon. Not sure who I'm going to give them to yet, but I'll keep them for myself. I do like crochet socks. Okay, now for the really exciting bit, or at least exciting to me bit, is the Christmas pattern. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm going to be holding it the right way up. And I'm probably going to end up having to put a photograph on the screen. As you know, I'm sat on a sofa. I can only go so far back, so you're not going to be able to see this all at once. As I mentioned earlier, it doesn't have a name yet. If you suggest a name and we use it, I will gift you a free copy of the pattern. And we are planning to release this on the 1st of November as a Christmas cowl. Now the blanket I'm about to show you only has 9 of the squares on. I wanted to keep a little bit of mystery. There are a total of 15 squares in the pattern for you to choose from. Wait, am I getting that right? Yeah, 15. So I hope that you like it. There will be plenty of sneak peeks coming up from around mid-October, and there'll be a chance for you to pre-order the pattern so that you've got everything lined up. It'll give you the chance to buy all of the yarn and things that you need so that you can keep up with the cal as it goes. I'm going to be running it over 6 weeks. The plan, she says, is to release, I think, 3 squares every week for the first 5 weeks, and then the last week will be how to join it together and how to add the border. So it'll be done plenty of time for Christmas, so sort of early to mid-December the cowl will finish, and I hope that you like it. So first square is a snowflake. Second square is an angel. Third square is a Christmas pudding. I mean, come on, you can't have a Christmas blanket without a Christmas pudding. Fourth square is a Christmas tree. Fifth square, I need to name this square, is, get rid of that bit of fluff, a festive motif. Sixth square is a reindeer. Can I get all that on? Yeah, reindeer. Seventh square is a present. Eighth square, this is one of my favourite, is a snowman. And the 9th square is a stocking. So the other 6 squares that you haven't seen, so one of them is Merry Christmas, one of them is Joyeux Noël, because I learned a bit of French growing up and thought it was a really cute thing. One of them is December 25th. Then we've also got another festive motif that I need to name. We have, what else have we got? Oh gosh, there's 2 more. No, 1 more. 2 more. Oh my gosh, baby brain is terrible. Okay, so after a quick cheat of looking at the pattern, Sorry if the camera's at a slightly different angle now. The last two squares that I couldn't remember for the life of me for some reason, despite the fact that I've recently made them, are a Christmas bauble and a Nordic star. So there's a total of 15 for you to choose from. They vary in terms of how easy or how hard they are, because I wanted it to be accessible to everyone, so you can mix up the squares however you like. And then when you join them, there will be very clear instructions on how to do this. Let's see if I can get it in focus. I'm using a braided join, and then I've got a lovely textured border for you to add on at the end. Hopefully that is in focus so that you can see it rather than it focusing on me. Anyway, so I hope that you like it. Keep your eyes peeled on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter for all of the sneak peeks and where you can order it from for the cowl. And then, as I said, I'll be releasing 3 squares every week for 5 weeks, and the last week is the joining and the border. We are going to do a giveaway as part of the cowl, so if you can keep up with your weekly entries, you'll be in for a prize at the end. But yeah, so I have nothing else that I wanted to show this week. As I said, I've been concentrating a lot on this Christmas blanket. So hopefully there'll be a bit more variety to show you next month, because this will be fully on the way, in progress, should I say, the cowl, which means they'll be focusing entirely on Christmas presents until the baby arrives. So enjoy, happy crocheting until next time, and it was lovely to meet you if you were new, and thank you for coming back if you were somebody who was already following. Bye bye.